It's Destiny. Tonight was just one of those nights where I was just like, you know what? I'm about to go live. I think this is my second time going live. Um, I've been wanting to build my YouTube channel. And let's just keep it real. Like, with you being on the internet or whatnot, like, you just want to make sure you look presentable. You just want to make sure everything is intact. Not that I don't look presentable, because I am just that type of person. Like, I get up and I put effort into myself every day, but for some reason I just feel like it'll be easier if I just go live like this, and then if I just want to show my face sometimes, then I'll go ahead and do that, because it just seems it's just less pressure, right? Because it's easy for you to go ahead and turn the phone on and talk or whatnot, and not just having to worry about the extra nooks and crannies, right? Anyway, I I came on here to go live to talk about life in your 30s, right? As a young black woman, 32 years old as of today, what is today's date? December 5th, 2025. I'll be 33 in January. Shout out to my Aquarius. um, I've been going through a lot of changes, and I want to share this because I believe that a lot of women, especially in like our early 30s, we go through a lot of changes, right? We go through changes with our body, our mindset, our standards, the way we want to show up to the world, the lifestyle we desire to have, the things that we thought we don't want it, we actually don't want anymore. The people that you dated, you probably just don't even want to date them anymore. Um, Life changes, and especially if you're the type of woman, that's very determined and ambitious, and you always seeing yourself up. You know what I mean? This I will have to say, like, me now being in my 30s, me, like I said, specifically, I'm 32 years old. Me now being in my 30s, I've become, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing to say, um, but I've become more serious about life. I've become more serious about where I'm going, as far as being more intentional, because I've always seen myself up, right? I've always seen myself having a life of abundance. I've always seen myself, just even as a little girl, like, I've always just seen me big, right? Um but now that I'm in my 30s, I move with more intention. And it seems like the intention just grows as time goes on, and I'm so grateful for that, because I come from very humble beginnings. I know how it feel not to have anything. I know how it feels to grow up in poverty. I know how it feels to be poor. And when I say poor, I'm talking about like mentality. Something that I'm still working on, passing over opportunities repeatedly. That's what I mean when I say poor. I don't come from a family of millionaires. I don't come from a family that taught me about, financial freedom or credit or business. Like, a lot of things I've taught myself on my own. And you know, I was this typical girl who grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, in the hood, struggling. I've witnessed domestic violence. I've was a product of my environment, in a little bit of a sense. When I say that, I'm just saying specifically, like, some of the acts I did, um, what's the word should I say? Some of the acts I did, I don't even know the word, not consume, but I just used to just do hood shit. And that's just the reality of it. And it took for me to come down to Atlanta and really think about where I wanted to go. And I've leveled up in so many different areas of my life. I've been up and down, but for the most part, I've come a long way from being this young black poor girl from Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm so grateful for that because I made the change because I wanted to make the change. Not that necessarily anybody pushed me, but I'm so happy that I left Cleveland because the reality is, I mean, I didn't have anything to lose. And I always seen myself, hey, y'all, I've always seen myself leaving Ohio. I just never knew where I would go. Um, and as of right now, at the age of 32, I'm like really trying to get my shit together. Like, real talk. I messed up my credit a few different times, rebuilt it, got it good, messed it up again. I've did that like literally twice. And I'm like, okay, when I get my credit fixed this time, honey, I will never mess it up ever again. I've had a hair extension business that I've been up and down with, up and down with for like literally over 5 years. 5 years, yes. And at this point in my life, I'm just like, girl, like, it's okay, do it broke. If you don't really have the money to like really invest in your business like you want to, do what you can. And I literally just heard a video. So I'm so sorry, y'all. If y'all like hear my background and y'all just hear like the kids in the background, I'm babysitting, and then I also do have a child. My child is autistic. So y'all, I don't know if y'all might hear the same thing playing over and over and over and over again in the background. I'm not going to apologize because I'm not apologetic for it because that's just how he is. But I do want to apologize for the background. Okay. If you want, I hope you understood what I'm saying. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. Okay. So, um, I talk to myself a lot, and something I've been doing lately. I got this from somebody that I actually do admire and I consider a role model. Dog and spaghetti dog. What? Okay, I don't know if y'all trolling or what. Anyway, um, what was I saying? That just kind of low key threw me off for real. Mission accomplished. Congratulations to you, Godspeed. That's probably what you was here for anyway, to distract. Anyway, me being this age that I'm at right now, I had to like really sit. Oh, that's what I was saying. Something I've been doing lately, which actually drove me to get back on my YouTube channel, like literally as of today, and just start recording live. Because lately I've been like, when I come from school, I'm also in nursing school. When I get out of class, I've been making it a habit to just go on my phone and record myself and just talk to myself through my phone, if that makes sense. So basically, I'll just go to like my voice memos. And I'm going to say this is actually very, very therapeutic for me because I'm saying things to myself on my recording. Like, I'm venting. And then also I'm saying things that I may feel a little uncomfortable sharing with other people, at least right now. So it feels good to be able to release that. And I'm just going to say this, like, I think you should actually try it. Like, if there's something that you've been wanting to tell somebody or something that you just want to get out, record yourself saying it, listen to it. And if you want to delete it, fine. Okay. Hold on one second, you guys. Okay, I had to pause it because again, my son, I told y'all my son is autistic and his attention span is just, I love him to death, but it's like a size of a pea. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Like I was saying, I'm gonna say this too. I'm just gonna warn y'all. Like, I have a habit too of um getting off topic. Like, it's just like a really bad habit of mine. Cause honey, I could be talking about something and then I'm gonna go on to something else that has nothing to do with what point I was trying to prove or whatever I was talking about in the beginning. So I just want to warn y'all, okay? If I drift off a little bit, it's okay to just let me know. But right now, I'm just having a venting session. This, I'm not being like too intentional with this. I'm really just venting and I'm just speaking my mind, okay? So with that being said, I'm trying my best to just set myself up for success. And if you're in your 30s right now, or if you've been 30 before listening to this, I want to know, like, where was your mind at if you're currently like in your 30s? Where is your mind at right now, and how old are you? And if you're wanting to change it, or have you changed it, your mindset within the last few years, and like what have you gained from that mindset shift? And or if you're past your 30s, what is something that you can tell me that you wish you would have done differently? Because I'm really curious. Like, I'm always like been wanting to like pick a person's brain and just see like what they think. And I think that's maybe like the science part of me, because I do love science. Like psychology. I love learning about how the brain works and like behavior, and it's just so interesting to me. So I'm always open to different perspectives and what people think. So with that being said, just going back to what I was saying, because I it sounds like already this video is probably all over the place. But okay, let me just go back. Let me just go back. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, boom. I'm at a point in my life right now where, me being the age of 32, I've just become more serious and more intentional about where I'm going. Okay. Meaning my lifestyle, my health, my son's life. I mean, I've always been serious about my son's life, but I'm just thinking more far ahead when it comes to him, right? Um, my credit, my finances, my business, my dating life. And I just want to say this though too, okay? All of these things that I just mentioned, if you want to level up in all of those areas, it takes for you to change the way that you think. I can't I can go on and on and on and on about how effective changing your mindset will shift literally everything in your life. Like, it's so important. And it's not something easy to do. One thing I've learned about myself being in my 30s is that for such a long time in my life, I was always the type of person where, like, I'm just going to try my best to start at level 10 when I'm really at level 1. And what happens is I get exhausted or I get overwhelmed, and then I might quit doing something, and then I get stuck in this cycle. Let me know if you like that. Like, for instance, if you're the type of person, you've been wanting to go back to the gym. I feel like everybody uses the gym, like, for everybody uses the gym as an example, right, when it comes to certain things. But like, let's just say, you in your gym girl era, you want to go to the gym, you trying to get that body tight and right, and you go to the gym not necessarily knowing what you're going to do, so you don't really have a program set up. And I'm gonna get later into that program, like, really briefly. But you go in, you work out super super hard, you trying to start off on level 5 when you really at level 1, and then you end up getting exhausted, or you get too overwhelmed, right? So then you start saying, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym 5 days a week. Girl, you haven't been in the gym in years. Okay, you haven't been to the gym in years, and you're saying, okay, you know what, start on Monday, I'm gonna start going to the gym, I'm gonna start eating healthy, blah blah blah. They skip. Next thing you know, you go to the gym maybe 5 days out the week for 1 week. You was probably eating healthy for 1 week, and then healthy to you was maybe malnutrition. Okay, truthfully. And you stopped doing it for like after a week because it was just too much for your brain, and you didn't prepare yourself for this. Like, you started off at level 5 when you're really at level 1. Okay? What would have been best was that you say, okay, you know what? Let's just say, again, you haven't been to the gym in like months or years, right? And you just like, okay, I'm not gonna go too hard. I'm just gonna start off at the gym, or I'm gonna start walking for 2 days out the week. Okay? I'm so sorry again, you guys, if you hear them kids in the background. I'm gonna replay this and see how this sound, because if it's just too much in the background, I'm gonna probably end up recording this over. Anyway, so what you should have did was maybe start walking, right? And then eventually let your body get, I think the word I'm using is acclimated. I think that's the right word. If not, y'all understand. Let your body get acclimated to you walking, okay? Naturally, your body is going to want more. And then even, hold on, y'all. Y'all, sometimes it's just be, I've had some lifestyle changes with my household, and it's not just me and my son anymore. So I just feel like with me having like more kids in my house, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that, I have to be on top of more than one kid now. If that makes sense. Anyway, um the point that I'm making is that I had to learn that, Destiny, like, you don't have to go so hard starting out. Like, you'll be able to build consistency and have better success that will actually last longer because you started lower and you started slower. Okay? Something I just did recently, I just made the commitment at my gym to um pay one of the trainers at my gym that I go to, right? I've been going to the gym for what, about like 7 months now, I would say. And I did like a demo with this one trainer that was there. He's not there anymore. But oh no, he did come back. I just thought about that because I don't know. It was like I was saying he wasn't there anymore, but I was thinking about him being there, which was like weird. But I did see him. I seen him like a last month, and when I seen him, I was just like, "Oh my goodness, like you're back." I haven't seen you in like months. He was like, "Yeah, they brought me back that up," but he was a cool guy, whatever. Anyway, I don't have him as a trainer anymore, but I did like a session with him for like a couple different times, and then it's like he ended up leaving. Truthfully, I didn't really want to pay for it at the time. I'll be honest with you. It was like I did maybe like 2 or 3 demos, and then after that, it was just done. I just didn't want to pay for it anymore. But I just got signed back up with one of the trainers at the gym. So I'm making the investment into myself. It's not that I have a problem with going to the gym. The problem that I had was that the trainer had to reveal to me was he was like, I see you all the time. He was like, you don't have a problem with showing up. The problem is the simple fact that you don't have a program. And he was like, as long as you've been coming here, and I appreciate the fact that he was just keeping it real with me. He was like, as long as you've been coming to this gym, you should have better results than what you have right now. And I was like, damn, like you are right. He was like, you don't have a problem with showing up and coming to the gym. That's the first part. That's the hardest part, really, just showing up. But he was like, you just don't have a program. I was like, you're so right. Right. I mean, he was trying to sell me at the same time, but more of what he was saying was true. So one thing about me though, like I used to be a debt collector. I did that for like over a decade. So I'm hip to like the selling. Like the average person wouldn't pick it up, but me, like I'm already there. Like mentally, I already know what'll be going on. So it's kind of hard to sell me, truthfully. Like if you can sell me, it's just like damn, he's good. Like I literally did debt collection for over 10 years. I know I'm literally getting thousands and thousands over the phone from talking to somebody that I never even met. And just because I have a gift of gab, that person know they've been on this bill, but they decided to pay me just because of how I talk and what I'm saying and how I'm delivering the message. So if somebody can sell me, I'm like, damn, they're good. And something else I want to say too, it's kind of off topic, but I just want to say this. I had to learn to like usually when people are rude to people being salesmen, because let's just be honest, like if somebody's trying to sell you, I think most of us maybe get a little irritated because you just don't want the service or what they're offering you though, right? But I will say this, if you react in like a positive way and you just say no thank you nicely and you know how to reject people in a nice way, you will actually be a really great salesperson. A person that may get upset or treat a person nasty or be rude to them because they're just trying to sell them a service or whatever they're trying to sell to them, those are usually not good salespeople. I just want to say that, okay? I don't know. That may help somebody. I don't know. Somebody listening to this, it may help you, but I just want to say that because it really is true, okay? Anyway, um, I was talking about the gym and me just getting back into like my fitness and lifestyle era. Something else that I learned was because I had a problem and I was listening to a video today. I'm gonna see if I can try to find that video or maybe like see if I can like include her in the description. I don't know the video. I'm gonna figure it out. If you don't see it there, I apologize. Maybe I just didn't know how to do it or just simply I forgot. I'm just gonna be honest with you. But I'm just gonna say that right now. Anyway, I learned that because let's just say, for instance, again, bring it back to the gym scenario. Let's just say you haven't been to the gym in like 2 weeks, right? But you've been going like consistently, maybe for like 2 months, right? Just because you were out for those 2 weeks, that does not mean that your identity of being a gym girly has been wiped off the table. You're still a gym girly. It's just that just because you haven't been to in 2 weeks doesn't mean that you should feel ashamed. It's just start going back. Okay. Don't feel like you got to start all over again or have some sort of reset. Just accept the fact that you haven't gone in 2 weeks. Okay. Even if your eating habits have been a little off, just start going back to the gym. Okay. Don't associate you not going back to the gym as if you're a failure or, you're going through like this feeling of shame. It's just that it's human. Life be life. And sometimes we all deal with things. It's inevitable for you to go through dips and lows in your life. And the only thing that you can do is just keep going. Okay. So that way you don't feel like you're just in like this yo-yo phase to where you start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And you never end up reaching your full potential or your goal because you keep starting over, girl. You keep starting over. Just go back to the gym. Just get back on track. Okay. Like for instance, this Thanksgiving has just passed. At this point, you should probably not be eating Thanksgiving leftovers anymore. Please leave them alone or throw them away. Okay. Let's just say you for Thanksgiving after that you ate like heavily for like 4 days to a week straight, just heavily, right? Heavily. I think I'm saying that right. You ate heavy. You ate heavy. It's just like, okay, just accept the fact you ate heavy. Say it what it is, even if you got to say it out loud to yourself, okay? And just move on. Like, don't associate your identity with you being like, a binge eater or you not no longer being attached to like the fitness lifestyle. It's just take it in. Okay, you took the L. Okay, cool. Boom. You got it on it. You took it to the chin. Boom. Let it go. Move on. Okay? Move on. Hold on, you guys. I swear, my sister's kids are so hard headed. It's annoying. I love them though, but they are so freaking hard headed. It's annoying. Anyway, um, boom, dating life. I'm definitely raising my standards this time around, okay? And my standards will continue to grow. I don't care what nobody say. I remember I met this one guy out. I had just went out like to happy hour at like one of these like little bars around here. This was like some months ago, but I will never forget this. And it was actually kind of funny to me, right? Me and him were just talking or whatnot. He was all right. He was cool, Um, and we just got to the conversation about, our dating life and stuff like that, blase skip. And we got down to like standards and like, things that we expect but it wasn't like so super serious. It was just that we just so happened to just start talking about dating and he was telling me about his girlfriend, da da da, boom, boom, boom. Um, and I basically told him, well, with me, I don't even know how we even started getting on me, truthfully, but we started talking about me and I started talking about the things I expect, da da da. And he was just like, "You don't think your standards are too high?" I said, "No." And he looked at me and raised his eyebrow and just like chuckled, like, hmm. And what I got from it was, no, my standards are not too high for me. They're too high for you. Okay. They're too high for you. Just because you feel like you're not capable of doing the job doesn't mean that nobody else would not be capable or would be more than happy to fill the position. Okay? No, my standards are not too high. Yours, you just can't meet the standard. Okay? So I think he knew right then and there, like, yeah, I'm not going to compete with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and just go about my business. And which I'm happy he did too, because, it would have been a waste of time, truthfully, anyway. Um, and something else, ladies, I had to learn was sometimes what you think your type may be, that's not your type. That's not your type, sis. Mm-mm. That's not your type. Something else I've learned was that now I don't want to be with a booger wolf, right? But looks become less important to me as I age. Okay, I can't speak for anybody else, but as I mature over time, looks become less important. Now, again, like I said, do I want to be with a booger wolf? No. But I can remember being younger and I wanted to date the most handsomest guy. I think I'm gonna say this. I stopped going after like super handsome guys when I was probably like, I never really dated like the most handsomest, but I would say I used to want like a 8, right? Between maybe like 17 to like maybe like my earlier like mid 20s. And then maybe from like 24 to 25 all the way up until like the age of 32 now. I they become less handsome over the years. So like to me, like I think a good solid like 6 or 7 is like perfect for me. Like a good solid like 7 is like a 10 for me, honey. Okay, give me a 7. Okay, or give me between the 6 and the 7, 6.5. I think it's like the sweet spot. Okay, because truthfully, it's about how a person treats you. Because if they treat you good, baby, that 6 gonna be a 7. That 7 gonna be a 8. Okay, or that 7 might be a 9, babe. So ladies, we have to pay more attention about how men treat us. And I've always like dated older. So when I was like 18, I dated guys that were like 24, 25, 26. And as I've aged, honey, the age gap just keep getting wider and wider, honey. So it's so funny because my mom always said that like my husband would be her age, right? It's so funny because like when me being in my 30s now, I literally be dating men in like their 50s. Okay. And it works for me though, because the reality is that, hold on. The reality is that I'm sorry, you guys. If you like hear me go blank, like if I say hold on, I'm literally talking to the kids. Okay, so just bear with me. If you got kids, if you know, you know. Okay, you be trying to be on the phone, they doing the most in the background, they screaming, just doing the most. Okay. Anyway, um, what was I saying? I was talking about me dating men that's like older than me. Y'all, I've tried to date me and my age, but it just doesn't work. Okay? Like I've tried it. I've tried to date guys in their 30s. It just doesn't work for me because the reality is I've always been way more mature than my age, which is why when I was like 18, I was dating guys in like their mid 20s. Okay? I was dating guys in their mid 20s, damn near 26, 27, because I've always just had like an older mentality. Okay. And like I said, as I got older, it's just the age gaps got wider. Um, and yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. And it's like now I just can't see myself with nobody my age. And also scientifically, men are like I'm just gonna say I was gonna say 7 to 10, but I'm just gonna say 10. Like men are at least a decade behind in the mind. Okay. So if I want to be with somebody that's older, if I want to be with somebody that's older than me mentally, like definitely not. So if that person is like 32, in my mind, he's like 22, truthfully. Like he's 22 years old and I'm not going to do it. I'm just not. Okay. If I'm dating a guy that's like 42, he's really my age and I still don't want to do it. I just don't. Okay. So it's going to take for me to be with somebody that's like 50 plus for them to not only be older than me, but also older than me mentality wise. Okay. So if I'm dating somebody that's like 52, in his mind, he's really 42. I can jig with that. I can jig. Okay. I can jig with that. It would have to take, like, seriously, it would have to just take a special guy for me to just deal with. Even if he's in his 40s, it would have to take a special guy for me to deal with, for me to just be like, okay, yeah, we can rock. We can rock. Me and him, we can rock. Okay? Cause yeah, it's just I don't see it happening no time soon unless it was just in God's plan. Anyway, so it's like right now I'm dating men are in their 50s. And speaking of dating though too, something that I just want to share with y'all, because I know us women, we have a habit of only dating one man at a time. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Date multiple. I'm not saying that you got to be sexually active with all of them. Okay? If and you don't have to do it with nobody. Okay? You don't have to do it with nobody. You're not married to none of these men. But I do just want to say this though, because what ends up happening is you dating one person at a time. Okay? You would have been dating this man for like 6 months. He still ain't made it exclusive between y'all. And now you just wasted your time. And you didn't got so emotionally wrapped up with this person. So you need to be dating until somebody want to be exclusive. You need to be dating multiple men at a time. And I'm just gonna say, let the best one win. Let the best man win. Okay? Stop dating these, because do you think that they only dating you? Don't be no fool, girl. I don't care if you talk to this man as soon as he wake up, you talk to this man before he go to bed, you talk to this man during the day while he at work. there's somebody, especially if he's not in an exclusive relationship, there is somebody else he's talking to. Please do not believe that you will be the only woman he's talking to. Maybe he may like you more than this other person or these other females, but don't think that if you're not in a relationship with a man, please, 9 times out of 10, he has somebody else that's ringing his line or that he texting. Even if he tell you that he's not, he's lying. 9 times out of 10. Okay? So I just want to mention that because you would end up wasting a lot of time like that because you only dating one person at a time. You should casually date. Period. Okay? You should casually date. And stop being so quick to open up your legs. Keep those legs closed. And the reality is, the longer you keep them closed, the more you'll get. Talking about from these men, honey, stop being so quick to open up your legs. Like, I done been there, done that. So I already know what it is. Okay. I'm just keeping it a bug. Like we didn't all did stuff, but eventually, you gotta take accountability. Okay, because you trying to figure out why you keep attracting the same type of guys when really you need to be looking at yourself like, damn, why do I keep attracting these same type of men? Because honey, it's something about you that keep attracting these type of people. Period. Eventually you got to stop blaming them and start looking at yourself and be like, damn, like, what is it about me that I keep attracting these type of men? You got to figure it out. Okay? Period. So I actually think I'm going to make a whole nother video with me talking about like dating and things like that, because I actually like talking about like dating. It's actually like, it's very fun to talk about to me. But I do want to say this though. I just feel like the men now, not all, but I feel like a lot of men nowadays, they just don't really want to be as masculine anymore. Like, what is up with that? They don't really want to be as masculine anymore. I just don't get it. Like, it's so sad. It actually kind of like breaks my heart a little bit because you know what? That could be a whole nother thing, and I don't want to offend anybody, and I don't feel like I've like prepared that conversation. So I think I'm going to like pre-prepare that conversation and really make sure that I speak my mind, but I do it in a way to where I don't offend anybody because that's not my intention. And I know me, like for the most part, I am a realist and I am outspoken and I say what I feel. If I don't like something I say I don't like it. If I don't understand, I'll tell you I don't understand. But with that topic, I have to be very selective about what I'm saying, but still get my point across. Okay, you need to hold on a minute. Be patient, please. 1 moment, please.
1 minute.
Yes, 1 minute. 1 minute, please.
1 minute.
Gosh, y'all. I told y'all my son. Sometimes it's just so funny. Like, I don't know if you have like an autistic kid or know somebody that's autistic, but one thing about my son, like he is just very determined, honey. Like he don't care what he got to do to get what he wants. I actually love that about him, but it can also be that could be like a double-edged sword though, right? Because sometimes he don't know how to stop, right? Like he don't know how to stop, and I just don't want that to like transfer into something else that doesn't serve him or benefit him. And because he doesn't have like that limit of like let up for the most part, I just don't want that to like get him in trouble. And God forbid something like that ever happens, but he does have that in him. Like he is a very determined person. Like he's gonna keep asking. Anyway. Oh, you guys. I got on here just to go live, just to have something to just talk about today. I really didn't like plan this conversation, but I think I'm gonna make this a thing, even if I come on here just once a week. Again, I'm starting slow. Okay. Because before I was trying to build my YouTube channel, I'm just like, okay, I'm record 3 days a week. Da da da. And it's just like for me, for my lifestyle right now, that's just not, it's not gonna work. Okay. So it's okay to start out a little further below or a little slower than what you thought. Like, build up the consistency, build up the momentum, and everything will work out for you. Um, so yeah, I thought I was about to end this, but I don't know. I just feel like continuing. I think I'm staying here for like another 10 minutes, and then that's going to be it. But I talked about dating. I talk about you know like my mindset. Um, so right now I'm in a space where I'm not the best financially, but I'm just not at total zero. Right. I literally was at a job that I was at for like literally over a decade. And I started going back to nursing school. I ended up quitting my job. I was low key scared to quit because that's something I've been doing for over 10 plus years. And I've quit previously in the past, but I ended up going back. And it was just like, this was the last straw where I was just like, girl, you quit this job this time, you're not going back. Like, you're going to have to figure it out because it started to get to where it was just so mentally, it was just overpowering my mental. Like, you ever just been just so fed up with something, you just like, you know what, at this point, I don't care what happens. Like, I just don't want to deal with it. It was just kind of like one of those. Or, I mean, if you experience like being in my position at a job to where even though you made it good money at that job and it helped pay your bills and you've been there for a while, you got comfortable, but you was just so fed up with the jobs where you just like, you know what, if it's going to take for my money to be low just a little bit until I find something else, or just for me to have a little bit more mental clarity and I'll be making less money, I'm willing to do that because this job is just taking over my mental state. And that's just how I was feeling, really truthfully, maybe for like the last, honestly, maybe for like the last 5 or like 4 years of me working that job. I didn't want to be there at all, but I was so afraid to leave because that's kind of like all I knew at the time. I was getting paid good money. Not only did I got an hourly, but I got bonuses, I got commissions on top of that. The flexibility, the familiarity, like it was just other things that went into it, but it sucked my mindset and my mental health tremendously. Okay? Like it literally was getting to the point to where I didn't even know what I even liked anymore because I was just so engulfed. It was like, think of like a think of like a cup, okay, with some juice in it. And then the juice just represents my life and my creativity and my plans and my goals and the things I want to do. And the straw would be the job, right? So you put the draw in this. I said the draw. You put the straw in the cup with the juice, and you just start slurping and slurping and slurping and slurping and slurping. Next thing you know, that cup gonna be empty, right? You probably see a little bit of the residue from the juice in there because it's never just 100% completely gone unless you rinse it out with some water. But that's how I felt. Like that's how my mind was. And it was just so, it was getting to the point to where even when I was getting to work, I was so irritated. Like you just had those days where you go to work and you just don't want to be there and you just so freaking irritated. Like, girl, you probably done rode the clock and everything. My performance was going down tremendously. My bonuses, it was getting to the point I was barely even making a bonus check. I remember when I first started that job, when I mean my bonus checks was hefty, hefty. Okay. I remember one time I had like a $7,000 bonus check. Like, what? Anyway, I mean, it was just getting to that point to where my time was up. My time was up really a few years prior than what I even had quit. But it took for me, this is what I had did, right? And this like literally just happened recently. I quit in like August or like early September. I want to say it was August though. No, September. Was it September or August? One of those. Anyway, I was like, okay, this time, look, I was all on YouTube. I was following this one lady I be following named Noelle Randall. If y'all don't know Noelle Randall, y'all need to look up Noelle Randall. Okay, she's into like real estate. She teaches a lot about finances. And it's just something about her voice. Her voice is just so soothing to me. And I don't know, she just gets me going. It's like when I listen to her, she just gets me going. And one of these days I'm gonna be able to tell her that to her face, like, girl, I've been following you for some years now, and it's just something of like, girl, you make me get up. Okay. And she, just to give you a little bit of background on her, like she, worked in corporate for a while. Um Basically she ended up like quitting her job and just kind of like lost a lot of things. I think she was like in bankruptcy or whatever. She went through like a lot of debt. She had kids, she was married, she ended up moving down to her parents' basement, and it was like she got down there, was there I think for like a couple years or whatever, and just after that she just emerged and just grew, and it's like now she's like a multimillionaire. Like she's just super dope. She's this younger black lady. I think she's only maybe like in her 40s, like early 40s. Like she's super beautiful. Noelle, Noerelle. No, I said R. I didn't mean to say R. I was thinking about Randall. So I think it's Noelle and then Randall. I think Randall is spelled with two L's. Anyway, look her up when you got some time. Um, I was listening to one of her videos, right? And I had planned on quitting my job, but I just didn't want to do it so abruptly like I did the last two times, because the last two times I quit my job within that 10 plus year time frame, I ended up going back because I didn't know what else I was going to do. Like my whole life was dependent, and that was like the only source of income that I had. My life was just so dependent on that job, right? So, um this time I'm like, okay, we're going to do this a little bit more strategically, because the goal is not to go back to work. Like we're not going back to work. Like, Destiny, if you quit this time, you're not going back. You're going to have to figure some shit out. Okay? We're not going to allow for this to be no crutch no more. No, because we're trying to turn over a new leaf in our life. We're transitioning in a lot of areas. We're trying to level up, go big, get better in every area of life, and you can't keep reneging because of scarcity. Okay? Or a mindset of lack. So I was listening to one of her videos, and she was just saying, get like a whiteboard. I had like a little small whiteboard I wrote on, and put the date on there that you want to date. I mean, I said put the date on there that you want to date. Put the date on there when you want to quit. I gave myself, what was it, 90 days? Y'all finished? All right, go ahead. Okay, I can get them. Just give me a second. Um, so I'm sorry, y'all. That just distracted me really quick. What was I saying? Oh, about the job. Make long story short, honey, I was counting down the days. I think I went from like 90 days. For some reason, I just remember like 86. Hold on a second. All right, I'm back. So, make long story short, honey, I got down to like 60 some days. I was crossing off my days every day. If I missed a day, I just make sure I updated the days on my whiteboard. And I had my whiteboard mag on my refrigerator. You know how they had like the little magnets on it. So that way, when I woke up every single day, I seen how many days I had. Okay. And I was doing that to help myself gain momentum. And not only just that, but I also was like looking for something else to do. And truthfully, I didn't know what else I was going to do. But one thing that I had said, I was like, okay, Destiny, you might have to make less money for a minute until you figure out where's your next, what you're going to be next, doing next, right? Honey, look, I just want to say this real quick. I ended up going, I think I had like 68 days left or like 64 days or something like that. Honey, I went to work calling calling myself, trying to help myself gain some momentum. Okay? I started taking some of the things off my cubicle. You know how you have like your little cubicle or whatever, and then you got papers um tacked up on the cubicle. You know you have like the cloth in the inside of the cubicle so you can tack up your papers and important papers that you need to see like every day. Honey, I took some of the papers that I really wasn't using like that on like an everyday basis. I kind of just took those down just to help myself gain some momentum to let me know like, okay, in a minute we're going to be leaving here. Okay? In a minute we're going to be leaving. Child, I started taking them papers down. Next thing you know, I took all the papers down. And like literally, this was in that one day. Like the plan was to just take the papers down slowly as the days went by to help myself gain momentum. Honey, I walked in there that day at work. I started taking those papers down. Next thing you know, I took all them damn papers down, honey. I put them in the bag. I left. I got home and I was just like, girl, are you literally about to quit your job today? Girl, first I called my manager or whatever because I've been there for so long. I personally thought it would be like a little corny, if I just would have sent like through a text that I was quitting. So I at least had the audacity and the respect to give a call, but they didn't answer the phone. So I was like, well, the only thing I can do is send a text. They can't say that I didn't try to call because I did. They just didn't answer. Okay. So I feel like if I would have ever called, they probably would have been on my conscience. That just because that's just the type of person I am. So I showed some respect by calling and they didn't answer the phone. Oh well, so I sent a text message. And that was that. And I left and I found me something else to do. It wasn't really what I wanted, but it was something different that I was used to. And it just felt a little fresh though too, because like I said, I was there at that job forever. Okay. I was there forever. And it just felt good to kind of it felt good to be gone. Right. Even though I don't work at that job that I initially got hired at after I quit, I'm doing something else right now. But it actually feels good because I literally had that job forever, y'all. Like I had that job for as long as I've been in Georgia. I've been here for like almost 12 years now. Like I literally had that job like a year after I moved down here to Georgia. Like seriously. Okay? So for me to just be in that one job for that long, I was never like a good quitter when it came to jobs because that was a job I had for so long. So it's like now, I didn't have little things that I did and I just ended up quitting. Like basically where I'm coming to is it became easier for me to quit a job and move on to the next thing. And it actually it doesn't sound good, maybe not, but it means something to me because I was so attached to that role in my life that I played to where it was hard for me to let it go because from familiarity. And it's kind of sad though because to a certain extent it was like I made it seem, even though that wasn't really the truth of the matter of it all, because we're all really stronger than what we think we are. But my life became dependent on that to where when I didn't have that extension, I felt lost. And that's not good. That's not good. You know? Like you cannot become that reliant on an outside source, except for God, in my opinion, that you just don't even know how to act when it's not available to you. Okay. Or it's not there, or you are no longer part of that thing, or, you know, I hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down. So, yeah, now I'm at this point where I'm just like, okay, Destiny, you finding you something else to do. And because I'm just in a different space mentally, like I'll be starting like another job like literally within like the next week. I'm just waiting on like my background check and stuff to come back. And it's not exactly what I want, but I'll be getting paid pretty much what I was making at my previous job. At least for the most part. It may not be down to, the exact amount, but it is a little bit more physical, but it's just something just for me to have temporary until I align myself or not but until I'm in alignment with where I'm going, right? Even though, I feel like I'm in alignment now. It doesn't, and when I say in alignment, I'm talking about just like spiritually and like mentally as far as like where I'm going, because I feel like I'm in a stage of like rebuild, like I'm rebuilding everything from scratch all over again. But it feels good this time because I'm doing it with more creativity. I'm doing it with more intention. And I'm gonna tell y'all, when you gotta wake up and go to a job that you freaking hate, I feel like it literally drains other areas in your life, because you put so much negative energy into, and I feel you though, but you put so much so much negative energy is attached to your everyday money maker to where it drains other parts of your life. I hope I'm speaking to somebody, and if I am, make a comment once I go ahead and post this. Make a comment. So I'm not saying it how it's on my heart right now, so I just hope y'all like picking up what I'm saying without me explaining it the way I really want to. It's just that I don't really know how to explain that, but I think you understand what I'm saying. And I'm just so grateful for the mindset that I have, and I'm just so grateful. Like I'm just so blessed and grateful, because the reality is though, at the end of the day, everything always works out for me. It don't matter. Everything always works out for me. It don't matter the situation. And I've been saying that for years, and I've been saying that for so long. And I think because also I say it a lot and I put it out into the universe, like it's just bound to happen because I always put it out there. I think I'm about to end this live, you guys, because I have to go get these kids ready for bed, even though it's the weekend. But I'm trying to have them in the bed early because I want to have some me time. I need to finish cleaning up my kitchen. I made dinner, and I need to finish cleaning up my kitchen. So I'm going to end this. I may end up making another live tonight. Who knows? But I'm going to come back later, even if it's not tonight. Okay? I really dislike to end it so abruptly, but it's okay. I'll be back. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.